this is something I've been thinking of talking about for a while, but and now seems as good a time as any. I'm really afraid that movie theaters are going to go the way of comic book shops. Being something that isn't quite gone, but most people can't find in their area. And some people will say it's because of streaming. No, like comic books, where it's not digital comics driving the shops out of business, the sales numbers, and the fact that Amazon doesn't think it's worth keeping a digital comic shop open tell us that. It's a lack of content people want to watch. We saw a huge problem in 2023, aggravated by the strike, but also, I think, because studios invested in anything based on a comic book, regardless of quality. They just thought it's based on a comic book, so therefore it's going to be big. And and while we don't have as much of that this year, we still have a lack of movies that I think people are going to be excited enough about to go to theaters. And in the end, here's what makes me upset is there are a lot of movie theaters that are basically small businesses. They're basically either one theater or two theater or three theaters in an area owned by one person or something, and they don't have anything to fall back on if people just stop going. And the movie studios, they'll be fine. Just like the big comic book publishers, they're fine. They can fall back on their big corporate parent companies and selling action figures and t-shirts to keep themselves in business. But that I guess that's why it really annoys me, this arrogance when the people making this content say, well, I'm fine. And they have this sort of arrogant attitude of, well, I don't need you to watch it. It's not so much that they're saying, don't read my stuff if you're this, or this. I'm just like, fine, okay, I move on. But it's the fact that the small businesses get left out to dry. And and I'm looking at the list of upcoming movies, and yeah, it looks like this is going to leave a lot of what's coming to theaters. Looks like it's going to leave, the theaters in the lurch. I mean, we have Argyle, which I think will do okay, but it's not going. But I don't think it's going to set the world on fire, and it's definitely not going to make up for other lost business. In the, I don't think it's going to make up for other lost business. I'm looking forward to it because I liked I liked the Kingsman movies, and I like Henry Cavill, and I'm sure it'll make money for Apple because they have their own streaming service, but I don't think it's going to help. Um, I really don't think it's going to help. You know, theaters. Then you have some sort of R-rated movie called Scrambled coming out in February. That, from looking at it from what I've seen here online, is just it looks like one of those things that calls itself a comedy, but it's actually just exercise in sheer depression. It's like somebody who made it is really struggling with depression, and they're putting it in there. We got it. It ends with us, which I can't even find a story synopsis online, or a poster, so that's definitely not going to help. Turning Red is getting a re-release, which it didn't do that great in the first place. I don't get why they care. Uh, You then have something called Lisa Frankenstein. I mean, it's from the maker of Jennifer's Body, so that could turn out to be a cult hit. Okay, but yeah, and then wow, ooh, good night. Wait. They already got Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 out. How quick is it to shoot these movies? I feel like the last one just came out a few months ago. How, how are they getting... This must be really quick and really cheap to shoot. So that'll probably bring in some money. But then Madam Web, which I don't even get. Madam Web was a cool cameo for Stan Lee's wife in the Spider-Man animated series, but part of his arc in that, but I never really considered her to be a completely good guy, since part of Spider-Man's arc in that was him growing a backbone and telling her to stop screwing with his life. But here, this seems to have nothing to do with it. I saw a trailer for it last time I went to the movies, and I'll be honest, it looked oh boy, did it look it looked just as boring as Morbius, and that's saying something. When I first heard this, I thought, well, they can't do as bad as Morbius, but this looks like the same sort of boring thing. I mean, even the cinematography and everything just looked boring and flat, and like it was... You know what it did? To me, it looked like a CW show. It looked like an Arrowverse show, which, yes, for TV shows on a last place network, I liked some of the CW stuff. But as for something that I'm going to spend $12 on a movie ticket for, I gave Sony the benefit of the doubt with Morbius, and yeah, and tried to be nice to them with that one, and it didn't work out. Actually, I gave Sony the benefit of the doubt twice that year, in that I went to both Morbius and Uncharted. Big mistake there. Morbius, I can't even remember what happened in that movie, and this is the only time in my life this has ever... And Uncharted, it's the only time in my life this has ever happened in a movie theater. I actually fell asleep in the middle of Uncharted. I got so bored by that movie. And the story beats were so predictable and so by the numbers that when I woke up like 10, 15 minutes later, because there was a loud noise on the movie screen, there was a loud noise in the movie that woke me up, I didn't even... I wasn't even lost. I knew exactly what was going on in the story, because it was like... And it was like... That's how predictable it was. There just wasn't anything of interest. Okay, so... They're re-releasing Amelia. I guess that might get something. Bob Marley's One Love, I really not sure how this one is going to do. Are there a lot of people who even know? Are there a lot of people going to movies? Maybe older people who, but I'm not. But I think a lot of young people don't even know who Bob Marley is. Land of Bad. I mean, okay, this. It's a Russell Crowe movie with Luke Hemsworth. How many Hemsworth brothers are there? How many Hemsworth brothers are there? All leeching off of the success of Chris Hemsworth. This looks like the most generic by the numbers military action movie that there could be. Now, it may surprise me, but again, I don't think this is going to help much with... I don't think this is going to help theaters much. Then the next big release is. Wait. What? I can't find a. It's listed here as Sesame Street movie. Didn't we already get that? And wasn't it called Follow That Bird? And wasn't it pretty good? I really don't think it's listing like Anne Hathaway, Sean Levy, and Chance the Rapper. I don't even know who that is. Um, yeah, I'm like, what? I don't even know. If you want proof Hollywood is out of ideas, Sesame Street movie. It's just called Sesame Street movie. At least Follow That Bird had a premise where it was like, oh, let's get off the set of the PBS show and take Big Bird on a road trip, and it had some heartfelt moments from what I remember. Well, I probably watched that movie when I was like 5, but okay. Then we have something called Driveway Dolls. Driveway Dolls? What? Again, it looks like one of those female buddy pics. I don't get it. Where I guess I guess they're I don't even know. I can't. There isn't anything in the description or the trailer that even tells me what's going on. It just seems to be two women on a road trip. Ordinary Angels. Yeah, that's really going to set the movie world on fire. Dune Part 2 is one I'm really worried about because I liked the first one, but there were some problems in it. But here's the two big problems with this series. One, Paul Atreides is supposed to be an old style charismatic leader who inspires men to follow him to the death to the point where people start a jihad in his name, right? That's not Timothy Chalamet. I'm sorry, but it's not. It's the same problem with casting Joaquin Phoenix as Napoleon. I said in my review that he did a good job playing the part that was written for him, and that was true, but that part wasn't Napoleon, and Joaquin Phoenix should have never been Napoleon. It's the same thing I feel with Timothy Chalamet as Dune, as Paul in Dune, is he did okay in the first part because he was supposed to be introspective and such, but I haven't seen him in anything where he has the charisma to pull off the second part of the novel, which is what Dune Part 2 focuses on, where he's the strong war leader, and I have a sneaking suspicion that they're going to make him just a puppet of Florence Plow. They're just going to compensate for that by making him a puppet of like Florence Plow or Rebecca Ferguson or something, because they're definitely talking about in the pre-release they're talking about how they've improved on the novel, but they won't say how. And I'm like, first of all, the novel is one of the most perfect pieces of literature ever written, so how do you improve on perfection? Secondly, that seems really arrogant. Third, they're talking about it in they wouldn't say what they meant by that, except that they had improved on the novel in the depiction of the female characters, which makes me think Paul Atreides is going to be a pretty much non-entity in a Dune movie. I definitely think when it comes to being the charismatic leader who would actually inspire people, despite all the problems with that movie, I think that that Kyle MacLachlan did a much better job in the David Lynch version. He definitely came off as somebody who could actually inspire people to follow him. I didn't get that from Timothée Chalamet in the first movie, and I'm hoping I'm wrong because I really want this to be a good follow-up because I really did like the first movie, but what I'm hearing from this just makes me insanely nervous. And the idea that they've improved on the novel is just no. Oh, I'm sure Kung Fu Panda 4. That's I think Dune Part 2 will be a hit, but it's not going to be as big a hit as people are expecting. It's not going to be any billion-dollar movie. I think it's going to land somewhere in a $300 to $400 million worldwide range. Maybe, since there's a lack of other things to watch, maybe it will reach the $500 million mark. But I'm not even sure of that. And I'd be surprised. And given the financial straits Warner Brothers is in, if it doesn't reach the $1 billion mark, I'd be shocked if we got another Dune movie out of this series. Kung Fu Panda 4, okay, that's probably going to be a bright spot. That's going to help them, I'm sure, because I have to say I recently watched the Kung Fu Panda movies after years of avoiding them, and I was shocked that it's actually one of the best animated film trilogies I ever saw. It's up there with Toy Story. It has that sort of heart in it, and it was really well done, and I actually liked the animation in it, which I was shocked by. I know, Jack Black playing a panda didn't inspire confidence in me, but here we are. This is where we are, where that's one of the few movies that I think is going to do well and that I might actually see in theaters. Something called Imaginary looks like another killer toy movie where it's, a teddy bear, I guess. Where it's a teddy bear or an imaginary friend or something. Yep. That doesn't look. Yeah, I'm sure that'll make money for the backers because these type of horror movies are really cheap to make. But I don't think it will do anything for the theaters. Oh God, no. Oh, thank goodness. I saw something called Arthur the King, and I was like, oh no, oh no. Hollywood's doing another adaptation of the King Arthur legends. No, I love the King Arthur legends. Hollywood, you're not allowed to go near it. Please. But no, it just seems to be a typical guy with dog movie. Again, that's something that will make money for the backers, but I don't think it's going to help the theaters. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is one that I'm iffy on because I don't know if they upped the budget. The first one made Ghostbusters Afterlife made money because they kept the budget intact. They kept the budget in check, unlike Ghostbusters 2016. But it wasn't the biggest hit of all time. But it made money because they kept the budget in check. My fear is that with that success, Sony's decided to up the budget to the point where there's no way this can actually make money. But I really, really liked Afterlife, so I am looking forward to this one, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope it is. I hope it is a hit. But the one thing I'm iffy on is, it, it from the trailer, it looks like it heavily features what's his name, the insufferable comedian who's repeatedly defended pedophilia, and he's repeatedly defended pedophilia, and they put him in every nerd project because they think nerds worship him, which we don't. He also helped ruin Mystery Science Theater 3000, and Patton Oswalt. That's the jerk's name. I can't stand him. Even before everything, even before a bunch of other stuff, I always found Patton Oswalt to be insufferable and smug. He came off as insufferable and smug, and it's just ugh. And this doesn't have Jason Reitman in the director's chair, so that's concerning. So, and I, I, and I really want to like this one, but again, I'm not sure I want to spend money to go watch Patton Oswalt for 2 hours. I mean, here's the thing: if you can ruin Mystery Science Theater 3000, you can ruin everything. Oh, and now there's this racist movie, The American Society of Magical Negroes. What the heck? I don't understand what they're doing. It's Harry Potter, but they're black, and this is supposed to be made by a black guy, but I don't get this depiction. I know plenty of black people who don't live in the ghetto, yet they seem to be making. Yet, from what I can tell from the promotional material, they're making it look like a lot of these people live in the. I don't get it. I don't get it. Just because your characters are black doesn't mean that. Oh, I don't know. Isn't that kind of, I don't know, limiting? Saying that what's that your isn't that kind of limiting that you're saying that, just because a character is black, they have to be oppressed and they have to have all these. I don't know. To me, it seems like it's. And it just seems really weird because on my descent, I could go out and I could make a movie called The American Society of Magical Irishmen, but I don't think anybody would go to see it. And yeah, when you limit your audience like that, I don't really see that making for a hit picture. I could be wrong. Maybe this will be like Black Panther, like the Black Panther movies, and people will show up in droves to see it, and it'll be the surprise hit of the year. I actually think it does have that kind of potential, maybe, but it's just such a weird movie to make like a Harry Potter knockoff, but it's adults instead of kids, and they all have to be a certain race. That just seems like a weird, weird thing to do. Oh, we're getting a re-release of Luca. That movie people didn't even watch on streaming. So, yeah. And after what Soul did, wow, I have a feeling movie theaters are going to feel the pain. Then we got Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. I have to tell you, my standards have been raised for a Godzilla movie after -1, and I don't really see this thing happening. Here's the thing: is I was bored by the human characters in the last Godzilla King Kong movie thing, and there were some fun moments in it, but I just felt this. They feel more like toy commercials. If you look, the toys are selling really well. So again, I think this will do well for the studio. I'm just not sure what it's going to do in theaters. Who knows? Given how little there is to watch, this could be a huge thing as people decide to just, you know, come in. First Omen. Oh, yeah, another Omen movie. Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks a lot, 20th Century Fox. That's what we needed. A 10 billionth Omen movie. Only the first one was any good. Something called City of Dreams. A young soccer player from Mexico was smuggled into LA and forced to work in a sweatshop after his mother died. that could go either way. That could be a surprise, dramatic hit. I mean, it is saying human smuggling is wrong, so I'm sure it'll be controversial in the modern world because, of course, smuggling people over a border, that's fun, so that they can work jobs at lower than minimum wage, where that basically equates to slavery, that's considered good in the modern world. And as we saw last year with Sound of Freedom, kidnapping and smuggling children, that's the tops according to modern Hollywood. And anybody who says that there's a problem with kidnapping, that says that kidnapping children is wrong, is problematic. So I'm sure if this does show a negative view of smuggling people across the border, it's going to get some controversy, and that might get it some money. Oh, great. Civil War. Oh, it's exactly what I thought it would be. It's a. It looks like it looks like one of these stupid movies where they. It looks like one of these stupid political movies. Yeah, where they're trying to cash in on the fact that there's an election and say that a civil war is coming. I mean, I think Kirsten Dunst is underrated as an actress, and I wish she'd be in more stuff, but not this. And it's definitely, I really don't think. I think this is just going to be a divisive movie, and it's probably going to be a preachy, one-sided mess. So I really don't think it's going to, you know, get anywhere. Again, something called Abigail, where a ballerina gets kidnapped. Yeah, but it turns out she's a monster. Okay, that uh, I'm sure that was probably cheap enough that it will make a profit. But again, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Okay, this sounds interesting, but will it be? Oh, it's Henry Cavill is starring in it. So okay, I'm excited about this. I'm actually excited about this. So yeah, it's a World War II spy movie, but again, I don't think it's going to be a huge hit. You got something called oh great. Yeah, it's like something called Challengers. Oh no. doesn't doesn't look good at all. It looks like a movie where some woman turns her man into a complete cuck who's having threesomes. I don't care. Again, some indie movie called Unsung Heroes that has Noah, who I don't think I, whoever Ontario Quinn, I don't think I've ever heard of anybody in this movie. Yeah, that's really gonna set the box office on fire. A movie version of The Fall Guy, I think this could. It has Ryan Gosling, so it has the potential to be a big hit, but was anybody asking for a movie version of the TV show The Fall Guy? Deadpool 3, which I think is already dead on arrival because look at the number of cameos they're pushing into this. You only put this many cameos in a movie if you're scared that it won't stand up on its own. I mean that's yeah, and the fact that they're being cagey on what it's going to be rated, yeah, that yeah, I don't think. Okay, a movie that worships Amy Winehouse. Wow, Back to Black. Yeah, that's that. A horror movie called Horoscope that doesn't even have a poster. Something called If. Oh, if. Yeah, this looks like it could be good or it could be insufferable. It could be one of those movies that's wildly creative, or it could be one of those movies that is just an unfocused ego trip, and it had way too high a budget to make money. We're going to have to see. I can't predict. I don't really know which way this is going to go. Uh oh, great. A Garfield movie. Do we need another Planet of the Apes movie? Okay, this look. There's something called Furiosa. I it. I guess it's something to do with Mad Max Fury Road. I don't know. I didn't really finish that movie because there was a scene early on in a movie that's about where, water and gasoline are supposed to be resources that people are killing each other over. We had people wasting insane amounts of both in like the opening 10 minutes, and that just and I was just like, nope, I can't suspend my disbelief for this world. uh, I like the other Mad Max movies well enough, but good night. It looks like nobody here has a brain between them, so I'm out. What on earth is the Watchers? 28-year-old artist gets stranded in a massive untouched forest in Western Ireland. And he becomes trapped among five free strangers that are watched and stalked by mysterious creatures each night. Hmm. That could actually be an interesting horror movie. People lost in the wilderness and getting stalked by something unknown. Okay. Something called Female assassin bent on revenge hunts down those responsible for killing her family. Ballerina. Ballerina. Sounds so generic. They'll have to do something like John Wick and majorly surprise us with that. Inside Out 2, I've never seen the first one, so I don't know. Yeah, it's like, and they say the character may or may not be feeling all kinds of new emotions. What are Well, being that feeling new emotions is the whole plot, from what I understand of an Inside Out movie. Are you are they being cagey about whether anything will actually happen in this movie? Bad Boys 4, yeah, I really don't care, and I really don't care now after, So, is Ian Griffith going to be a minor villain, I'm guessing, since he's Welsh and you only use British guys in these action movies? I mean, since Hornblower, Ian Griffith has been an actor I like following because he very much made that series for me, but I'm really not interested in seeing anything with Will Smith in it. He's just, yeah. I mean, you have Despicable Me 4, Venom 3, Twisters, Captain America, Brave New World, Harold and the Purple Crown. Yeah, sorry this has been a long rambling. The Alien movies have been garbage since Aliens. Does anybody care? Craven the Hunter. There's just something called There's just something called Kendrick Brothers 2020 Form Fill. It has a release date but no title. Craven the Hunter I don't even care for. I really don't want to pay to see Alec Baldwin on screen for Beetlejuice 2. I can't even stand to put in. Beetlejuice used to be one of my favorite movies, but lately I can't stand. Another Transformers movie? Didn't we just have one last year? Another Saw movie. Yeah, Joker, the Joker musical, which, yeah, I loved the first movie, but no way. I don't really care for a Joker movie. A Wolfman remake? Unentitled Sony and Marvel Universe picture. Yeah, I think I made my point here. I'm sorry I got lost on a tangent looking at this list of upcoming. I mean, apparently there's something called. Oh, good night. Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. Oh, great. No, no, no. Gladiator 2. I found the first one insufferable. Mufasa. Sonic the Hedgehog free, I guess, could be good. Is Thunderbolt still a thing? And a remake of Nosferatu. Because, yeah, that's what we need. And, yeah, it all we seem to have is cast lists. So, yeah, sorry, I got lost reading this list, but I don't see anything here that makes me excited. And I think theaters may be in trouble. I mean, the only thing I've been seeing right now that I there are only 3 movies I can really think of that I'm like, okay, this is something that I might see it that'll probably see in theaters, and that's Dune Part 2, Kung Fu Panda 4, and Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. After that, I may go the entire rest of the year without watching a single movie in theaters. This is bad. This is really bad. I mean, when it looks like the big movie of the summer could be a pointless sequel to Twister. Hollywood has lost the plot, and the movie theaters are paying the price. I guess that's where I am at this point. This just blows my mind that we've reached this point. And are there any movies you're looking forward to? I don't know. This is just. I don't see how this could get much worse for Hollywood or the theaters. This could be the year that kills off movie theaters. And I'm not sure after 2023 and 2024 the studios can recover. I think they're going to have to just rely on merchandise sales from old franchises to keep themselves afloat, because I don't think anybody's going to be going to the movies for a long time after this, because I don't see any reason to trust them. And if the few movies that are tied into these old franchises they have coming out are bad, I don't think anybody's going to trust Hollywood ever again. I mean it. As somebody who loves going to the movies and loves going to my local theater, I'm depressed because I don't see any reason to do either of those things anymore. Well, anyway, thanks for listening to my long rant of a video, and sorry, this was just a ramble, but good grief, they've really screwed up this time. See you next.